about now something goes to shit.
We'll see. So, yeah. A lot of times this is where we get our technical difficulties, and it's like I freak out and have a meltdown. And
Somebody is going to be doing a screencaster of you having a complete and utter meltdown.
that'd be awesome.
It is going to be so good.
It's gonna be sweet. Yeah.
Could sell that on a blooper reel. It'd be good.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
More like a pooper reel.
No poop. All right, guys. Well, hey, let's get this show on the road. All right, everybody, if you're ready, here come the MythWits.
It's the MythWits, a geek pop culture web series, broadcast live for video and audio podcasts. Watch us live at mythwits.com and find us on YouTube and iTunes, bringing you news and reviews about geek pop culture. We have comedy skits, play nerd-tastic games, and provide extensive on-location con coverage. And now, your hosts.
Hello and welcome to the MythWits. I'm your host, Peter Bryant, and tonight I am joined by Michael Kafis.
Hi-oh, coming to you from the Mother Marsh's lair of doom in the mountains of North Carolina tonight.
Sweet! Down south. Our science correspondent, John Monahan. Hey, John, what's up? Hi. You want to say hello to the folks?
Hey.
Hey.
This is where you say hi!
This is the part where you say hi. John's coming from the bowels of Baltimore.
Hi.
And tonight,
Yep.
we are joined by Brian Lenz, our guest host. Hey, Brian.
Hello. All the way out here from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Sweet. So, Brian and Adrian both have off tonight. Adrian is having major internet difficulties, and Brian, I don't know if I should announce this or not. Brian has a thing tomorrow, and it's very exciting. But I'll let him make that announcement at some point. But it's very, very exciting. Something he's been working towards for quite a while now. So hopefully, we'll have good news next week.
Is
Hopefully
it
he'll have
have
some...
some work and a bag of iced peas?
Something to do with losing virginity, or
No, he's. I think the rumor is that he popped a Viagra and a roofie and went into a gay bar to see what happens. But you didn't hear that from me. No, he's got a thing tomorrow. All right, so hey, speaking of gay bars, roofies, and Viagras, this show is not safe for work. If you are easily offended or in a place where people are, or you have young children around you, please wait to watch this at another time. I would like to offend you when it's safe to do so.
Hey, Pete,
Yes, sir.
is this show safe for a shit shower and a shave?
Yeah, absolutely. All in that. Does it have to be in that order?
Oh, I just want to say that I, right before the show, had the trifecta.
Oh, nice.
I feel good.
Oh, man.
Just wanted to make sure it was safe for that.
Right. Excellent.
Glad to hear moving experiences do exist.
Yes, they do. All right. So, happy Mother's Day. Happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers out, all the
Right?
bad mothers out there.
Dude, it's a panel of dudes. What are you talking about?
That we might have mothers watching
Oh,
this show.
well, that's part of the reason why hey, my mom watches this show.
Does she really?
So-
Okay. Well, happy
Yeah.
happy Mother's Day, Mrs. Is Marsh, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Happy
That's
birth-
why I met the
Happy
the-
Mother's
the-
Day, Mother March.
the Marsh lair of doom.
Marsh. All right. So let's see. So yeah, we did the whole Mother's thing around here. We went down and we went to this restaurant called the Rusty Scupper, which is very nice. It was good evening. So Mike, as we know, Mike is in the Carolinas visiting his mom's. Not well, for good reasons and for not so good reasons.
Yes.
We wish your family the best, Mike.
Thank you.
All right, so let's talk real quick. Let's get this out of the way. Mid-season break is coming. So we've got this episode and two more, and then we're going into what we call the mid-season break. We're going to take the month of June off. I mean, officially. So we're not going to have any official shows where we do our thing and record it and all that stuff. The first week of June, I'm going to run an interview I did with two cosplayers, Allegra and Matt. It's a really good interview. Allegra is, both of them, Allegra and Matt, they're really funny.
They are awesome.
They're interesting people. I really like them a lot.
Met them at GrandCon. I love
That's
them.
right. You did meet them at Drag. Okay, yeah, great. Yeah, they're really cool. So I'm gonna run that interview. That is gonna be our first episode of June.
Because we're gonna be on hiatus, Clavin.
And the reason why we're taking the month off is because we're gonna get a lot of the behind the scenes work done. You know, we're gonna do some bits and stuff like that. We're just gonna try and do improvements to the show. As a matter of fact, I have a new intro I'm working on, but we got to get Mike's soundboard working fully before we do that, and that's gonna be one of the things we're gonna work on. Let's see. So yeah, soundboard. I mentioned that, and we might even do like the games that we do. What's that? What's that, John? Hello.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any better,
Right,
it will.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Like an impacted bowel, we're gonna shove more shit in your face.
Nice. So then, yeah, Mike and I have some bits that we've been trying to put together, but we just haven't had the time. We're going to do that. We might run the games on SlideShare. That's one of the plugins for Google that I've been wanting to try out, but we just haven't had time to work it out. And I think that's about it. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so this is really cool because I secured our first show for July. Our mid-season opener is going to be Jason Elliott of Gygax Magazine. So we're actually going to have Gygax Magazine on, and I may even try and bring in one of the Gygax fellas if they're available. So maybe Ernie or God, kill me, but I can't remember the other guy. I think it's Gary Jr. maybe. I know Ernie and the other whatever. Anyway, don't crucify me, guys.
First level Gygaxes.
What's that?
These are like first level Gygaxes.
Yes.
Right, Gygax Juniors. So if we get them on, it'll basically be a Gygax TSR show. It'll be really cool. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, so hey, all that stuff's out of the way. Let's get to the interesting bits. Brian, welcome to the show. It's Brian Lenz, and Brian runs a thing. Him and his it's you and one other guy, right? Basically.
Right. Yes, my business partner, Mark Spector. Yep.
Right. They run something called GrandCon, and Brian's going to tell me all about it. It's a new con. Their first one was last year, and they're doing it again this year. So apparently you didn't fail. So you must have done well because you're doing it again. GrandCon is at the Crown Plaza Hotel, Grand Rapids, Michigan, September 19th to the 21st. So Brian, tell me about GrandCon. What is GrandCon? What do you guys do there?
GrandCon, first and foremost, caters to all the enthusiasts out there for comic book and tabletop gaming of all of its variations. And both Mark and I have a huge passion for both in either industry. And we finally came to a point where we're like, hey, let's get this done for Grand Rapids. I happen to run one of the largest board gaming groups, if not the largest board gaming group in Michigan. He's been doing some demoing on the side for years, formed a demo team, if you will, about a year and a half ago, and between the two of us and collaborating, we said let's put this convention together. But it's an enthusiastic gathering for people that are in the know of comic books, artists, tabletop gaming of all variations and those sorts.
What can I ask you? What was your draw for the first year? How did you do?
We, and I'll kind of build up to that. We were, first year con, we're thinking, okay, 300, maybe 500 pushing it between the folks that I know and the draw and the ties, and I know a lot of folks in the industry, and so does Mark. But we're thinking, 300, 400, 500 small con. We saw nearly 1,500.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, congratulations. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. This year, as long as there's enough beer and I can stay awake, with this, we anticipate about 3,000 this year.
Well, there will not be enough beer, but I'm sure you'll break 3,000. But
yeah. So we have many of the returning guests from last year, which is great for the surrounding Grand Rapids area audience that missed it. We had it's hard to for anybody out there that's ever attempted to or maybe has gone through starting a convention. It's one of the toughest things you can do, from self-promoting through the grassroots. We're not self-made millionaires by any means, so it's all by word of mouth and getting to know people and making friends in the industry and spreading that word that way.
Right.
So,
you know what you should do is maybe get yourself on like some of these video podcasts and stuff. You could spread the word that way.
Yeah, I've heard of these things.
Yeah,
wow.
I don't know.
Hold on, let me write this down. I better do this.
Right.
Yeah.
So actually,
Like 1,503.
actually, I was talking to these guys. I talked to Brian and Mark last year. I interviewed them last year. Met them at GenCon, and we all met together and filmed it right in the room. But I think Mark doesn't. Is it Mark that works in promotions?
No.
Or,
No, I'm sorry, Pete. Go back to the drawing board. No, no, Mark is in his real life. He is in insurance sales.
Okay,
So,
I thought somebody worked in promotion. Maybe I'm mixing it with something else. I do a lot of interviews, so it's quite possible my brain has crossed the streams.
No, and I'm just making light. I know it's hard to keep track of everybody's daily life, right? But no, it's we both have worked. I think that's been a huge plus for both of us. Between the two of us, I have over 25 years of business and sales and management as a background.
It was you. Okay, I'm sorry. It was you, right? Because you did sales. Right. Okay, sorry.
Right.
Yeah,
and Mark has about 20 years himself. So between the two of us, we brought a unique spin to the convention where we approached it more from the business side.
Right.
And I think that's where I've seen a lot of conventions fail because they're like, hey, let's get our dudes together and dudettes and let's have some fun, and they forget that if they want to have it as a business, you gotta have that gel in and have that synergy too. So that's been a big plus. Plus we're a little older now, we're both pushing middle age, and that helps too to be a little bit more mature on that side of things and be a little bit more directional.
I wouldn't know what that's like.
Yeah,
me either. I'm just saying that for posterity's sake.
Well, I can tell you from experience that when you push middle age, it pushes back. So.
But not to take things away, it's been a great experience. I'm a huge kid since day one. I will never grow up, and my wife can attest to that. She's sitting and listening in on us right now. But
okay.
But yeah, I love gaming. I love the people that are associated with it. I can appreciate art from all its forms, and I wish I were a superhero. To maybe some I am, but I don't know yet. They haven't introduced themselves to me. So, it's been a great experience all the way around to really take the passion I've had since I was a kid and just keep on going with it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So if you were a superhero, if you really were a superhero, what would your power be? Like one power you could pick. What would it be?
Oh boy, I don't know. If I were a teenager and I would have to say invisibility because there's certain areas I would love to go to that you normally couldn't.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Well, you still wouldn't mind going to those areas as an elderly gentleman. This is
nice. Yeah, but now it's creepy.
not if you don't get caught.
Right, not if you're invisible.
What was that? Don't worry about it. Whoops, did I say that?
Right. It's awesome.
So,
all right.
No,
That's your wife's listening in, right?
That's a tough one to say because it's a big universe out there. You could ask for anything. I suppose I would, I'd ask for one thing, and that'd be to be all wise and powerful in that regard. To be like Yoda, if you will. So
okay.
That'd be a superhero power of mine.
Right. Mine was. I seem to remember one of the one I think I like the most is to be like strong like the Hulk, because I have. There are times when I might have a little bit of anger issues, and I've always thought it would be really cool to be able to just like flip out and destroy anything. You know what I mean? Just have a complete awesome flip out session where I could tear trees up and smash cars and because it would just, I think it would feel so good. But
Pete, though, take into account the next time you nod off when we're gaming, we have green paint.
Oh God, I do. Yeah, that's terrible. John's telling tales out of school here. Sometimes, as I've gotten older, as it were. Actually, it's never been different. I'm sorry. I can't blame age. Sometimes I'll fall asleep at the gaming table because we play late. We'll run late.
You guys are drinking too, aren't you?
Yeah, there might be a little drinking involved. So I might be a few rums in. And it's a Friday night after I've worked all day, and it's 3:00 in the morning, and I might, doze off a little bit.
That's some room. That's some room definitely for a few rums in. So
yeah.
3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate Green Lantern, honestly, to really answer that question.
Oh, cool.
So
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
he's been one of my favorite superheroes in that universe for a long time. He's vulnerable, but yet he's honest and has that integrity and tries to protect what's right. So
it's awesome that you're going to be here for the movie draft when we do that, because being that you're big you're a big kid like we are, and there's a lot of superhero movies this summer. You can give some good input on what you think how we're gonna fare, and we'll explain the movie draft when we get to it. But we're running something all summer long. It's really cool. It's something Mike came across and signed us up. Twisted my arm to get into it. I'm really happy he did, because it's been a lot of fun. All right, so I noticed on your I was looking through GrandCon. The website, grand-con.com, everybody. Ta-ting! And we'll get back to plugging all your stuff. But I was looking on there, and there was I saw a lot of artists. So you must have like a lot of artists show up for this.
Yes, we do. Being a hybrid convention, as I was mentioning before, the comic books and the board gaming. So we focus a great deal on artists, and we give them an opportunity to come in and show off their wares. I mean, really, GrandCon we try and make it as intimate as possible. Gen Con is now the beast that it is,
right?
And Origins is in Columbus, but so it's something that we envision being that having a bigger presence with people, but still being able to have that, like you and I sitting here, us guys sitting here chatting, you have that opportunity to talk with some of your modern day heroes of their genres, if you will, and having the opportunity to kind of respect who they are, give them that show and tell and learn a bit about them, and maybe inspire you in many ways. Right. So that's really what we've been focusing GrandCon on. So as far as the artists, yeah, we have some amazing artists. Guys that have been in the industry for 20, 30 plus years, working for Marvel and DC coming. Last year we had a great turnout. This year we're going to have an even better turnout as far as that's concerned, along with the authorial experts and game designers and things of that nature. So yeah, to expand upon that, once again, it's a hybrid convention, so it's unique in that regard. It's very tough to do, but it's something that we're trying to keep a 50-50 focus on.
Right. Yeah, I saw you have Jeff D coming. He's a pretty well-known artist. He's old D&D artist, and
yes.
Very popular.
John Aldrich.
Yes, John Aldrich. We've got John and Mark McKenna, another old scribe from the artist realm, if you will. He's been in DC, Dark Horse. There's a lot of these guys. Awesome. Scott Rosema, who has his long arm resume himself. I mean, he worked for Hanna-Barbera back in the day when we were growing up, right? So, he did a lot of artwork. He's done a lot of Marvel and DC. We have Mark A. Nelson, who has been in the realms of Magic the Gathering, so crossing over to the gaming side, all the way into. I mean, he did some TSR work back in the day. He's done a lot of comic book art. He's probably one of my top 5 artists. He's an amazing artist when it comes to human anatomy. So just amazing artist to view his pieces and his work. He worked on Alien and Aliens, some of the comics as well.
Oh, cool.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So it's really cool to get to know these guys, and then see them actually starting to talk to the board game designers and things when they're here at our convention.
Oh yeah. Okay. Making good contacts. Right. Yeah.
Oh my God. Kate Main. You got Kate Main.
Who's that?
Main?
Yeah. Never heard of her, but she's I love her horse staccato. she's an avid horse rider. Good stuff.
Yes. We have a school here locally, like a lot of larger town cities do, and we support them. Like this year, our T-shirt and design is done by a local college grad from Kendall School of Arts. Tyler Salas and his wife did the ink. Kate Main did our Silver Surfer logo type, if you will, that you see. And so we're really kind of picking out of the crowd that folks that want to come to GrandCon and show off their wares, their talents, and hopefully maybe get some nice commissionable work and pick up some friends in the industry, if you will.
Right.
So, and then in the meantime, GrandCon benefits from that in many ways.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Now let's talk a little bit, because this was something that really impressed me. How have your prices? Are they staying about the same? Were you able to keep them up the same? Like, did that fare out for you okay?
Yes, it did. We actually kept our prices at a very reasonable. Last year around $30 range for a full weekend badge, and actually it was 2.5 days. This year we're at 35 for a full weekend badge.
$35.
This is for a full 3 days. The hotel, it's a wonderful hotel that we're in. Conference Center is the second largest in the city of Grand Rapids, and we're looking at, I think it's $100 a night roughly for the hotel as well. And then there's several satellite hotels like within spitting distance of this one. All kinds of restaurants. So we're just in a great location.
So wait a minute. So these other hotels, are they in staggering distance?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Good. Okay. Good.
Very important couple of roads in there.
They are. So we think that you're able to make it here, Pete, and then we'll just get a static line for you. We'll rope it to the door and just push you and say go.
Okay. Cool. I like that. That's awesome, because when I go to a con, one of the things that I don't like about so the only thing I don't like about Dragon Con, because I love Dragon Con, man. The only thing I don't like about it is that, it's a two-edged sword. Okay, so what I like about it is we have a free place to stay down there because we have a friend who lives nearby. What I don't like is he lives driving distance away. Right. So,
and it's not staggering distance.
It's not. No. So we have to be careful. Now, mind you, Dragon Con is a 24-hour event. So if we drink a little too much, we could always just sit on a couch and hang out until till we're cool to go. One of these years, we've got to get a hotel room there. We got to do this sometime. But I like that. So you can, if you're hanging out and having a good time, it's running late, but you didn't, for whatever reason, you didn't book in time for your hotel. You can hit the one right next to it, right, and just mosey on over.
Yeah. Brian, do you ever get to Dragon Con?
I have not. I have not had the opportunity.
You're invited.
Okay.
Well, I don't know, because
I heard they let anyone in there. I mean,
right? That's right. Yeah. They let us in. I mean, come on.
There's many cons that I've been wanting to get to. That's one of them I wanted to go. PAX East and West.
PAX, yeah. We want to do PAX East at some point.
Yeah. There's even the New York Toy Fair and things like that sound like they're just a blast in themselves. Mm-hmm. So, but so it's been a surreal experience for us so far, and things just keep motoring right up that ladder for us. And I think a lot of it has to do with the passion that both Mark and I have behind what we do. And
right.
Like I mentioned, I run the largest game group in Michigan, and that's pushing about 500 people now.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Where do you run something like that?
It becomes segmented to a point because not everybody can get together right at the same time. Everybody has different work histories and lives in that regard.
Right.
So what I've done is I've gone around to various locations and established relationships with them that have a decent amount of space where they can house 50 to 100 people, such as like a local bookstore. There's a couple FLGSs in the area that I've made friends with, so we set up shop there, if you will, like maybe once or twice a month, and then throughout the month there's probably, on the average, there's probably about 4 solid events every week. So anywhere from 20 to 60 people will show up at each one of these events, and then it just kind of circulates like that.
That's cool. So if you live anywhere, if you live in Michigan there, it says, now you say West Michigan tabletop gamers, but could it be anywhere in Michigan, or is it where? No, it couldn't be anywhere in Michigan. Michigan's a pretty big state, so like
Michigan's a good sized state. That's where ultimately, I'd like it to grow that big. Lansing is in the dead center of the state capital of Michigan. You could live in Lansing and make it to any one of our gatherings, and a lot of people are, most people are so open about the experience and making friends in the industry. It's just couches to crash on, spare rooms to crash in. People want to drive. I've got a couple buddies who live over in the Detroit area, and they drive over every once in a while, and I put them up in my spare bedroom, and we game for all the weekend or what have you. So it's
Detroit.
Yeah.
All right, hey Trav, if you're watching this episode, get in touch with Brian. He's one of our good friends, Robert Pulaski. He goes by the call sign Trav. He's been on our show. He lives in Detroit, and he's an avid gamer. He should come down to GrandCon.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's I mean, Detroit's 2.5 hours or less, depending on where you're at. So it's so close, and that's kind of cool for us too, because Chicago is only 2.5 hours from us as well. So we're right in between two major cities, if you will.
Nice.
And we're the second largest city in Michigan, and then you have Indianapolis, which is 4.5 hours away. You have Columbus, which is 5 hours away. So being in the Midwest where we're in a nice centralized place. And if any of you haven't been to Michigan, it's a nice outdoor state as well. There's beautiful, with the lakes around us, and if you ever wanted to shoot up here just to sightsee, you've got some beautiful scenery to take in outside of coming up here to game. So, or check out some of your favorite artists. So it's a really cool thing. You don't want to be here for about 9 months of the year, but there's definitely 3 months of the year.
Speaking of that, what season are we talking about for this? What are your dates like?
What? I'm sorry. What was that again?
I was saying, speaking of that, what season are we talking about? What are the dates of the con like?
That's awesome. It was
not that it's not lovely in midwinter, I'm sure, but
yeah. No, it's it's September 19th through the 21st. Sorry, your video was breaking up and you're coming in kind of robotic like.
Yeah, it was roboting.
Yeah. But no,
it's not me.
He has his nervous tick, every once in a while.
It's just how he talks. Don't worry.
Domo arigato, mister.
Yeah, it's John Headroom. So.
Right.
But
catch a wave.
Yes, our dates are September 19th through the 21st. It's generally very, very beautiful at that time of the year for us, and cool enough that you're not, sweating your balls off. So
right.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Mosquitoes aren't trying to carry you away, right?
Yeah, yep. You're hitting temperatures of like anywhere from 65 to low, high 70s, and no humidity, and so it's perfect time of year to be around here. So
nice.
Cool. All right, so listen, I moused over something, and it just presented an interesting question. So compared to last year, and I'll tell you what I moused over, it was code of conduct. So has there been anything that this year you needed to add to the code of conduct now that you're going into your second year?
That's a good question.
Which I'm trying to pull maybe an interesting story from that. Anything?
Boy, I wish I could fabricate something. We had an amazing first year. From the peace bonding, what you do with the cosplay toys, and people bringing the swords. We had no crazy folks walking in, naked, that we had to say, hey, appreciate that, but you need to put on a little bit more clothing. It was very family friendly oriented. So
no furries that were yiffing and scritching and stuff.
No. Like I said, I wish I had a cool story for you, but the cool story was that it was just a really, really good time. Everybody from our guests all the way down and back up just had the rapport was wonderful.
Nice.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Good. All right.
Maybe next year you'll have something for me.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. This year as we grow, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. This year as we grow, who knows what we're going to expect? And here's the other thing too, is that we were also on a dry campus. So.
Oh.
Well, there.
Oh.
Yeah. So maybe this year it might turn a little different. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. All right.
But it still worked out very well for our first year. We were on what was called Prince Conference Center Convention Hall. It was beautiful, like kind of diamond in the rough place. It was a really peaceful time actually for the whole weekend. But it was really cool. And Tracy and Laura Hickman had nothing but compliments to say, and appreciated that. Ed Greenwood was amazing when he was here. I had Boyan Radakovich was here, who's going to be back. Had a lot of great things, and we've got Plaid Hat Games coming back in, and so we've got a lot of cool returns. Unfortunately, Christopher Bedell from Greater Than Games, their team wasn't able to make it this year. They're just spread too thin.
Right.
Yeah, so that was unfortunate because they fit right in. They're comics and gaming. Hello, Sentinels of the Multiverse, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
But you got Ed Greenwood's coming back, right? Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Ed's like my extended uncle now. So
Okay, cool.
he's a super cool dude. Couldn't say much more about Ed, and then that he's just all hugs and all genuine about himself.
You know, it's amazing, Brian. So Mike and I are one of the spots we always go to, and we're almost like family there, is TotalCon. So we go to TotalCon every year, and it's like going and hanging out with our extended family, and it's amazing because some of the people who were guests at one point are now like a piece of the con. You know what I mean? They're like it's not the convention without them, or it wouldn't be without them. So like, for example, we go up there and we one of the guys that you may have heard of is a guy named Tim Kask.
Yes.
So we go up and we hang out with Tim, and Tim is like, Tim's like our uncle or something. I mean, it's just awesome. We go and all hang out and have a good time, and it's kind of interesting the relationship you build with people. It starts out as a con, as this thing you're running, and then evolves into something, I don't know, like this like living entity.
Yeah, like you were saying. Yeah, it's true. It's like, it's not the con if it's one of those, like, say, I don't know, us, we don't show up,
Right, I know. It would not be that con if it wasn't for us,
Yeah.
what I mean? Not that we're taking any...
Just saying,
You guys had a cool point. I mean, it's I think the best line that I've heard in a long time was that, like, you go to a show and you meet 1,000 other friends that you didn't have before.
Right.
And that's kind of what these cons are all about. It's you all share the same interest, maybe a little different, but that's where, obviously, you don't like somebody the way they game, hey, you move on and find another person you like,
sure.
how they game, right? So, but that's such as life, if somebody can't handle their drink, well, I move on till I can find somebody that can. So
Yeah. And
right?
that's the beauty of it, like at con games, that's what's so awesome about sitting at a con table. If you're gaming with somebody you don't care for, that game will be over soon enough, and you go play another one. Whatever.
Hey, you made a friend, and doesn't mean you have to hang out every day. So.
Right, absolutely. So what about food? What's the food situation like there?
There is a restaurant within the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things. It's a little tough for us. We wish we could do a little bit more. We're looking at having some catering trucks come to the outside, but there's a few laws that are a bit hard to hurdle over, if you will, in Michigan.
Right.
So we can't bring food in. You can order food, quote unquote, if you're a guest and have
Right.
it brought in, which is the odd part. But they've got a great restaurant staff and service there. And then within the food area, Michigan is, well, first of all, I'll have to say this for you guys. Grand Rapids has been Beer City USA 2 years in a row. So it is.
I'm liking this more every moment.
we have some of the best microbrews in the country here. So besides that, you're going to have some great bar foods and that's all within. I always call Grand Rapids. It's a big city farm town, if you
Right.
will.
Okay.
You can drive from one end to the other in 20 minutes. But yet there's so much here to do that you could spend a few days here and not see it all. So
Is that where Sigler's from?
I think he's from Michigan. Is that where the Upper Peninsula exists?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so he's
it's now in the dictionary that you can call them Youpers.
Youpers. Okay, yeah.
The
So
Youpers, yeah.
he is from the state that has Youpers in it.
Yeah, he's a Youper, yeah.
I don't know where he's from in Michigan.
I don't know.
Somewhere in there. But okay, yeah. So I will tell you this from being at Gen Con, I really like the food trucks. I think the food trucks are a fucking awesome idea. If you can do it, I would say you should maybe try and go for it, at least a couple or something, because it's really nice to be able to like get out of the hotel, just go to a truck and get something to eat. Doesn't take forever.
Right.
Well,
I will say this, in regard to your stumbling distance to a hotel, there's also about a dozen restaurants within stumbling distance.
Oh yeah, that's true. That makes sense. Of course, every one of those restaurants, or every one of those hotels probably have a restaurant, and then there's probably restaurants around there, right? So, all right, sweet.
You got your staples from the quick fast foods to to the nice mediocre quick fast foods.
Right.
But yeah, there's several burger joints and a nice steakhouse and some Italian eats and and the restaurant in the hotel is good too. So
cool. All right, so let's talk about timing. So right now registration is open.
Yep, open registration. If you get in now, you save yourself a few bucks before actual walk-in. However, walk-ins, we're not all the extra monies that we take at walk-in are going to charity. They're going to Helen DeVos Children's Hospital Foundation.
Awesome. So
guy. Either way, it's a benefit for everyone.
It's too dark. Wait a minute, it's too dark in your picture to see your halo. No, go ahead. No, that's really cool. That's really cool, Brian. I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's something, and that's a big proponent to our convention as well. As we try and support local, and a lot of businesses that are supporting us are local, of course. And I'll have to say I do want to give a shout out to thank you to R&R Games with Frank and Dan DiLorenzo from R&R. They're big supporters for this year as well. Cool. So that was an amazing thing coming from them. Besides our local support, so we have GTS Distribution, who's been helping us out quite a bit as well since last year, and there may be a couple others that right now I just at a loss to name, but it's been a great start for us, that's for sure. But yeah.
Well, hold on, wait a minute. If you want to see who's supporting this con, you could always go to www.grand-con.com. and check it out.
My halo got bigger.
No,
grand-con.com.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not spelled dash. That's a hyphen.
It's a hyphen. It's the minus symbol.
Oh, that's a hyphen there, eh?
Oh
okay,
yeah,
okay.
You put the hyphen in there.
Yeah, you got to get that youper in there, eh?
So wait a minute. All right. Right. So you're not reading that book yet, are you, Mike? You haven't read Ancestor yet, have you?
I have not read Ancestor.
Okay.
I actually just finished Contagious today.
Okay. Oh, cool. So Brian, if you want to, there's one of our favorite authors, a guy named Scott Sigler. He's from that area, and he likes including that area. So it's in most of his books. But he goes into a whole thing on the Yoopers in this book called Ancestor. It's a really good, if you like horror, like sci-fi horror, thriller type stuff. It's an awesome book. But he has this whole thing on the Yoopers, So he gets it. So you might really like it because you'll probably go, I know where that is.
I will. I'm sure I can relate.
Yeah. So all right. So we got the time. All right, so wait a minute. So if you want to be, let's say you're listening to this, and you're watching our show, and you happen to be, I don't know, somebody who might want to go to GrandCon and actually do something there, like a guest, like you want to be a guest there. When should they get with you? Like how late do they have to get with you to like become part of the festivities?
The sooner the better.
We're
already 70% sold out.
Okay. All right. So if you're watching this, get on it now, and if it's a couple weeks down the road, don't wait.
Yeah, there have been many guests that have tapped on our doors, or we're tapping on theirs, and it's a slow process. When through this time of year, it's kind of a trudge actually, because you got Origins, then Gen Con, then it just rolls right in, and they're all focusing in on the major conventions, and GrandCon's actually being thrown in there too. So
that's good.
It's in the mix, and people are highly considering it. So that is good, considering this is our second year. I don't know it makes my hair stand on end when I start talking like that. So
mine too.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't talking about that hair.
So what about vendor rooms? Do you have any vendor spots still open? Is there room for vendors yet?
Yes. I apologize. I was incorporating the 70% between guests and vendors. So
okay.
Yeah. We always have room for guests that want to pop in and maybe do a seminar and things like that. But if they actually want a table, which most do like to have, we're getting close to that 70% sold out mark.
Okay. All right. So, blah, 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 blah. We already talked about how last year went very well. All right. So there's something I wanted to bring to you, and we have a couple guys that came on the show. Well, one of the guys came on the show, and we see them every year up at TotalCon. They run this thing called Iron GM.
Yes.
And if you don't do it this year, you might want to try and get in contact with them and have those guys come out. Or they do what they do. They also have a local Iron GM setup, so that whoever wins it doesn't get the grand prize, or doesn't get the prize to go to Gen Con. And of course, for yours, oh my God, that's shortly after Gen Con, so they would be for like next year, even if these guys came out. But they have like an affiliate program, so they send you all the material. And you actually, not you, whoever would want to do it, can run Iron GM themselves as a local thing. It's pretty cool.
We, when there's just two guys, and I'll tell you what, if in the listening audience that you inquired, if anybody ever wants to step up and help us out in the volunteer realm, we're more than happy to speak with you.
Okay. Right.
It's quite a chore when it's just, I mean, I've had people come up and say, hey, can you bring this back to your committee or your team? And it's Mark and I. That's it. It's just us two.
Yeah.
And we're growing out of our little boy pants into our big boy pants really fast, and it's tough to keep up right now.
So Mark, let me give you some more work to do. No, I'm kidding.
Right. Yeah. So no, we actually had some correspondence with the guys at Iron GM. It was timing. It was all about timing last year.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think it's worth it. It's pretty cool watching them do their thing, man. If you can make it happen next year, maybe, I'll testify. It's worth it at your convention. It's good stuff.
It's fun, a lot of fun.
We were, just to kind of touch base on that, we were hesitant at first. We were thinking, well, how many RPGers are we going to see? And these are thoughts that go into starting up a convention, and
sure.
We ended up filling up. It was somewhere in 16, 17 tables or rounds. It was average of about 6 or 7 guys and gals per table, and we kept it filled all weekend. The Pathfinder Society popped up. They ran 30 to 40 plus events, and so it was amazing. So that just said that spoke volumes that there's definitely huge need and desire for that around this area.
Well, I'll tell you, maybe next year I will try and make sure. Maybe we could put this on the calendar because it's cheap enough. I mean, to get out there and stay, and I have points. I could always catch a plane cheap, come out.
Pete, where are you? You're in the New York area, right?
Well, Baltimore. Close.
Baltimore. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, what is that, like a 12-hour drive, even if you drove it?
I would not drive it.
No.
I would fly. That's a
you
fly.
Would fly. I drove to the gathering. I got back from the gathering just a few weeks ago, so that was up in Niagara Falls, which was a blast.
Well, I travel for work quite a bit, not lately, but usually, and so I get a lot of points. So I can sometimes fly to places for free using my.
And what about your buddy? You got enough points for your buddy?
I flew you to DragonCon one year. So we'll see. No, it would be cool. I wouldn't mind coming out there. That sounds like a lot of fun. Sounds like it's.
Man, the MythWits could do a show out there.
Yeah. No. If we came out, we would work the whole weekend. We'd have shit to do all weekend.
I mean, if you even were able to work it in where you came out this year, I'd have a room set aside for you, so you'd have your own. We have a dedicated kind of podcast, vidcast area.
Okay.
So it's a salon, a little different from where we were at Gen Con when the guy broke in through the wall. You remember that, Pete?
Oh yeah, I do. Yes, I do. I had to cut that out of the video. No, Brian, I would, but this year, I overspent a little bit this year, so I'm trying to. Well, last year, and I'm still trying to recover. So. I'm getting things paid down this year, so my con schedule's a little light. But I will definitely put it on the calendar for next year because this sounds like a blast. And it sounds like my kind of con because it's like a total con. It's about that size, and we love that, man. It's awesome. It's like big but small, but big.
It's a grand con,
but it's grand.
It is a grand GrandCon.
I'm sorry, a Grand Dash Con.
A Grand Hyphen Con.
Oh, come on.
All right, so is there anything that we have not covered yet? Because we got a lot more stuff to talk about.
No, we did a great job, and the registration is open. We're still accepting vendor guest applications, wants, needs, or desires. That's going on until we have to close that door, and the closer we get to June, July, I imagine by the end of July that door will be closed. So that's kind of if anybody's putting something on the calendar, try and get it before then and get something arranged. And we still are trying to keep it reasonable. Obviously, like you said, $35 for an entire weekend is
it's ridiculous. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, and that allows you to do everything. I mean, your vendor exhibitor hall. We have an open gaming format. We have 2,000 plus board games that are catered in, so you can come in and game all you want. The RPG area is an event-driven area, but then we have our charity events and things like that. So just keep up on our website. Like us on Facebook.
Absolutely.
Like us on Facebook, and that's huge by keeping up with up to the minute or up to the day kind of events and quick memos that we have for our folks.
And as always, the links are all right down below the video. So we'll have all the links. But just in case you're listening to this as an audio, because we have an audio version of our show too, it is. I'm going to do this one more time. It's
right here. It's down there, right?
Yeah,
for the audio
right
listeners.
there,
It's just down there.
Right there. No.
I can't. Where?
Hey! Don't look at me like that. Stop.
So for our audio podcast listeners, it's grand-con.com, and check them out on Facebook, facebook.com, of course, /GrandCon GCA. And
my keyboard doesn't have a dub key.
You've got an old stock keyboard then, I think.
Thank you, George.
I have a U.
Right. Dip.
A W.
All right, and then also Twitter is GrandCon GCA. And that's the links I have.
Awesome.
All right, so what is next? So let's talk about BaltiCon here real quick. Now, this is our ConMen Activate episode, as I called it. So I'm going to BaltiCon. Mike is going to go with me. John is going to be there as well. I'm going to be sitting. I got my panel. I got my schedule today. So I'm going to be doing on Friday. I'm going to be doing a panel called "Create Your Universe Without Breaking Natural Laws." I'm really excited to be on this one because this is one of the ones where you get to create your game or writing world. And when I've been on these panels before like this, basically a lot of times you have authors or aspiring authors or aspiring game designers or writers come in, and what they want to do is they want to find out, a lot of them are not science people. They want to write about scientific things, but they're not scientists per se. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll have scientists on this panel. Now, I'm not a scientist, I'm an engineer, so I'm going to be coming at it from an engineering, and because I have a whole section I want to talk about that I've put together for this about, you watch these movies and you read these books where they'll have this advanced technology, and I'm like watching it going, you don't have the resources or the manufacturing or the processing or the, and
Detail.
But that's what this panel is. This panel is about that level of that's what it's about. It's trying to keep your world realistic, and I wanted to do a whole little spiel on that because that's one of the things that irks me. Being, from a processing standpoint, I watch movies. I'm like, they wouldn't have this. There's no fucking way that this would exist, and it kind of takes me out of the movie sometimes. So then. And of course I can speak on sciencey stuff as well. Then there's getting the most out of Google Plus and Hangouts on Air. I think I might have a little bit to say about that.
We have an expert, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Being that's what we use. And then recipe for making an effective game master. And then Kickstarter 101 for game players and designers. And next steps, what to do after recording your podcast. So I will put all of these on the calendar on our website so that if you should happen to come to BaltiCon and you want to attend and hear my sultry voice, even more than you already do, you can catch me there. And that is enough of me for BaltiCon. And Mike's going to come with me and hang out. He's going to be taping and interviewing and helping me get shit done. We're going to try and network a lot and secure a lot of guests. I'm trying to secure as many guests as I can for future episodes. I mean, that's how we got Paul Cooley. That's how we got T and Pip, because that's where I've met, I met these people before at BaltiCon, and that's how, we managed to bring them on the show because we're friendly with them. So I'm gonna make more friends, I think, and try and get more people on.
I'll be getting people drunk to trick them into being on our show.
Yeah, let's do that.
No, I ain't.
You know what, Mike? Your mission. This is your mission.
Yes.
George Schraub.
Challenge accepted. What am I gonna do?
If he shows up, I want him on this show. We got to get him on this show. We got to get him on an episode.
I'm sure we could. Yeah, sure.
Because if George shows up on this show, forget it. The rest of us are done. He's going to take over.
Yeah.
He's good.
Good. There'll be less to do.
Right? I can sit back and watch, right?
I hear he's a talented guy.
He is. He's very, very talented. Very, very, very special.
We're smart.
All right, so that's all I got for BaltiCon. We're going to do AllCon next week. Brian and Adrian, again, like I said, Brian and Adrian could not make it this week. They went to AllCon, but we haven't had a chance to talk to them about that.
BaltiCon is what, 2 weeks from this?
Yes.
This past weekend?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, sir.
2 weeks. All right.
The Memorial Day.
And BaltiCon is BaltiCon is a fucking bomb in a lot of ways because you go and you do all the stuff at the con, and it was really cool. They have panels with like scientists, so it's not just like sci-fi and fantasy and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that they have all that, and that's great. But they'll have like physicists and astronomers and the guys like this teacher guy here that's on our panel tonight.
Who? Oh, the guy that's over there. Wait a minute. Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that, John?
Hello?
Yes, what's up?
I was just going to say, BaltiCon's a bit of that because we've got Hopkins and Goddard Space Center and a lot of resources in the Baltimore, D.C. area. So we've got a lot of great scientists that come up for it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. I that's one of the aspects I really like about it. I actually go there and can learn some things. All right, so, Mike, you ready for the summer movie draft?
Sure.
All right.
In deedly doodly.
All right, so let me explain this real quick before you start. We have this thing that we're doing. If you haven't seen this before, we're doing a summer movie draft where a bunch of us picked movies that are going to run. They've already started, so they get the little early start. So it started the beginning of this month. Actually, it started last month, right? Beginning of last month.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So start with Captain America: The Winter Soldier. It was the first movie, and it's through the whole summer cycle. And basically, what we're doing is we all bid on teams. So we had 100. Fantasy dollars that we had that we could bid on our teams. And basically when you ran out of money, you couldn't buy any more teams. So you wanted to get the best bang for your buck. And what you do is you buy movies, you build your team with these movies. And then at the end of summer, we're going to add up the money that all these movies made. And then whoever has the highest amount for their movies wins the game. So here I'm going to pull up.
I'm screen shared right now.
Yep. I got you. Hold on. Let me do this.
Because I don't have my dual screen, so I can't see myself.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, this is the MythWits 2014 Summer Movie Draft, and let me just go to the home and just give us the official overview. We have Team Deadpool is still in first place with $468 million, 14 degrees north, still trailing a few hundred million, behind at 113 million. Little Old Me is at 62 million, with my only movie, I'd like to say, The Other Woman, just kind of, keeping
Dude, that movie is kicking fucking ass.
Thanks, ladies. MythWit Brian is at 22 million with his one movie, A Transcendence.
Which did terrible.
And hey, in fifth place now, Ian has hit the board with $204,000.
That is the shittiest buy. Chef is doing terrible. That's how much it made over the weekend. The whole weekend it made $204,000.
$204,000.
He's not making shit off that one. How much did he pay for that one?
$16.
Oh, his butt's got to hurt on that one.
Yes, it does, son. And you have yet to hit the board. You have $1 Million Arm coming up.
Dude,
let me just
that one's gonna rock,
here.
man. I've
We
been seeing
are
the commercials on that. Oh,
Yes. So your next movie will come out next weekend on the 16th.
Yep.
This Friday, and as well Godzilla for Brian, which will probably boost him into at least second, maybe first place, but probably second place. And I have to wait until the weekend of BaltiCon for X-Men: Days of Future Past to possibly put me actually on the board. We also have Blended coming out, which I think is going to do like $0.00. And that's Maleficent comes out at the end of the month. So, and A Million Ways to Die in the West, which is you have that one as well.
I don't have a good feeling about that one.
I don't either.
I did it first, and
Yeah.
I don't since I've been seeing the trailers and stuff.
Yeah, the more you watch the trailer, the less you like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. All right, so hey, wait a minute. I did something. I did a little something. If you go on our YouTube's channel, I created a playlist that has all the trailers for all the movies in our challenge.
Good on you.
So you can go through and see the trailers for all of them, and you can feel as sick as I do about that choice.
Yeah.
It's not going to be as bad as Chef, though.
Yeah, look, this the poor bastard. Look, it's like he didn't even make it like above the line there.
Chef, it did so terrible.
And I can call my son a bastard because he's mine.
He's your boy.
He's my boy. So yeah, I mean, geez, I am one movie's put me in second place.
Bang for the buck, that movie is beating the pants out of everything else.
Yeah. So, yep, that's that. Stay tuned for next week.
All right, so let's get back into our normal mode here. So Brian, what do you think about the superhero movies this summer? So we have Captain America: Winter Soldier, which is really killing it. I mean, the guys, the first team, Adrian's team, Team Deadpool, they are making a killing off of that one. Have you seen it yet?
Unfortunately, not yet.
No.
I've been drooling. I've been drooling since it came out. I just haven't had the opportunity. I unfortunately went and saw Spider-Man.
Yeah, I heard it sucked.
Oh, did not.
Not happy. Not happy, huh?
Did not care for it.
That's not going to work out for who's got that one? Is that 14 degrees?
Deadpool.
That's Deadpool?
Deadpool has Spider-Man too. Yeah.
Oh, good. Fuck them.
So I mean, it's still I mean,
no, they're making too much money.
Boost for 2 weeks. But that's their strongest movie. After that, he doesn't really have anything else. They have Neighbors, Tammy's
not gonna do anything.
No, and that's it. That's all they have. So I mean, they busted their wad in the beginning, and we'll see if it does anything for him. He's got a lot of he'll have a lot of, what do you call that? Bragging rights for throughout it, but we'll see what happens. Everything is going to happen at the end of the season. So
yeah, I think because I'm pulling in the anchor. I've got Guardians of the Galaxy, so I've got the last big movie of the year.
Yeah,
so
I'm very excited for that one.
Yeah, I am too.
Let me ask you this, Brian, because how do you think X-Men is going to do?
It's still up in the air because what I've read and what I've seen, it's hard to say how they're going to put that movie together. Especially, is it Brian Singer, right? That directed. So he's a man of action. Plus, we've been hearing some touching experiences coming from the England side of life with him as well. I don't know if you got that in the news, but
what's that? Oh, wait a minute. What are you talking about?
Oh, he's been known to hang out with some boys.
Oh.
Wait
a minute.
Yeah.
So wait a minute.
Oh, when you say touching, you mean like
wait a minute. Males or boys?
Boys.
He said boys.
Oh,
he said boys.
Shit. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. Now those were some accusations. So if you're a stock forecaster and you start reading into that news, I don't know what that's going to do for the X-Men Days of Future Past. But I think the fan base will tell. I think that will be foregone, and But I'm excited to see it. I appreciate X-Men is probably one of my favorite groups as far as the Marvel universe is concerned. So I'm pretty stoked to see it myself in just a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And Godzilla. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. All right. So what do you think? What do you think about?
Wait a minute, Mike, hold on a minute. John, what's that?
Oh.
I was just going to say that both Godzilla and X-Men have sort of that built-in fan base. It's very, very loyal. So
True.
Yeah.
True. And equally, Transformers has that built-in hater base, which I don't know how I'm gonna do. I have Transformers, and then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is pulling my anchor. So I don't know.
Like Rocket Raccoon versus the Ninja Turtles.
See, I would take the Ninja Turtles on that because I can't. Just the whole fucking raccoon thing is just.
Dude, I'm telling you.
I have a couple of issues of that. Don't knock it.
Dude, I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, dude. Hold on.
The raccoon is gonna beat the turtles.
Dude, look, the raccoon is no. That was really. I'm telling you, that was totally turning me off to Guardians of the Galaxy. I was just like, this is bullshit. Come on, man. They got a raccoon, really?
Yeah, well, somehow you let the raccoon. You drank the syrup or the Kool-Aid.
I did.
And
I drank the Kool-Aid. He's won me over.
The raccoon is still on my shit list. So.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. You know what movie's going to really tank for me of all the movies that I have? The Planes, Fire and Rescue. Yeah. I think that one is going to be the biggest turd. I mean, A Million Ways to Die in the West might out-turd it. But we'll see.
I think that's going to be the biggest turd.
But I think the million.
No, I'm gonna have a sneak pass to see that here in a couple days. So
which one is that?
A Million Ways to Die in the West. So.
Ooh, give me a little preview when you see it. Give me a little heads up.
Maybe you want to do some trading on the inside.
Oh, we can't. Oh, we can't. No trading.
No. But yeah, call me first. Let me know how it went first.
Right.
Just saying.
But I am kind of excited to see $1 Million Arm because I didn't realize it was a Disney movie. And I've been seeing the commercials for it, and it's like I think that one's gonna make me a lot of money.
Yeah, sure. So anyway, how about that How to Train Your Dragon 2?
I think that one's gonna do well.
Yeah, we'll see. That's Brian's. So
I think it will. I think Godzilla's gonna kill it, though. I think Godzilla's gonna make Brian a ton of money.
We'll see.
I don't think it's gonna be worth 50.
No,
Not
he paid half his wad just for Godzilla. He paid $50 for it.
And I knew he wanted it, so I kept driving it up.
Oh yeah, totally.
All right.
All right. What do we got next?
$50 on Godzilla.
Yep, out of $100, $50.
Next time you guys do this pool, let me know.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. You can be in.
Yeah.
We'll do it. I guess I don't know. Do they just do summer?
No, there'll be most likely a fall-winter draft. Fall-winter.
We got to do it. Brian, we'll let you know. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do our game first, just in case, because I know Brian, I know you said you might need to get out of here before too long, so I want to make sure you get in on the game because this is right up your alley. This game divides will divide the geeks from the non-geeks, the non-hackers. So what I need you guys to do, everybody, get yourself something you can write your answers down on because I'm going to ask you questions.
Like one of these?
Yeah, like one of those.
Okay. Check.
Or you can type it down on Notepad if you have that or whatever.
I have a Notepad too.
I would just ask that we do the honor system, no looking anything up.
Hey, I'm gonna open Notepad.
And let me know when you guys are ready.
Ready.
Go.
All right.
Ready to go.
All right, here we go. So just write these down. I'm going to ask them and go ahead and write your answers down. So, question number 1. What century does Duck Dodgers reside in? Ready?
Yep.
What is Indiana Jones' real name?
Oh my gosh. Shit. Oh, I should know this. I can see Sean Connery. Oh.
Oh God! Because I can see it in the movie. Dad, don't call me that.
I'm putting an answer down.
Just remember, they named the dog Indiana.
Right.
His real name is Georgia.
Okay. Which doctor had a long, multicolored scarf as his trademark?
Do you want to know which one?
Yes, I want to know which one.
Oh, the exact one?
Yes, the exact one that had the multicolored scarf as his trademark.
Wait a minute. Do you want the name, not the numberth doctor, right?
I'll tell you what. I'll make it easy on you. I'll take the number and or the name.
I got the name.
Of the actor, of course. Because it's the
What
doctor.
if we get all three?
Oh.
Is there a bonus?
What's that?
Is there a bonus if we get all three? The name, the doctor, and which doctor?
Which doctor? That's a whole different show.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Might be a tiebreaker.
That was Buffy.
Okay, so
Doctor.
all right. So question number 4: What alien being wields Mjolnir for a short period of time and is later given its equal, Stormbreaker? This is a tough one. I'll give you a hint. This is Marvel Comics.
Right. Read that again?
What alien being wields Mjolnir for a short period of time and is later given its equal, Stormbreaker? All right, and then as soon as you're ready, I'm going to read the last one, and then I have 3 tiebreakers if we need to do it. That'll be our sudden death.
Okay.
All right, so when Wesley challenges Humperdinck to the pain, what body part does he say he'll allow him to keep?
Oh my gosh.
If it's Princess Bride, it's just like a gimme
Yeah.
for me.
Yes. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I am going to go from my right to left. The audience is right to left, so we'll start with Mike. Mike, what century does Duck Dodgers reside in?
Was that the 24 and a half century?
That is correct.
Yes.
John, did you have 24th and a half?
24th and a half, yes.
Sweet. And Brian?
I did not.
Oh boy. Okay, that's fine.
I have 25th.
I have a feeling that you might catch up. All right, maybe.
You're 2.5 centuries too early. Come on.
Sorry. So, question number 2, Mike. What is Indiana Jones's real name?
Adrian Speedy Perez.
You're so close.
I'll give you a quarter point for that.
Thank you. Quarter point.
Right.
Yeah.
John, do you have this one?
Henry Jones.
That is correct. And Brian,
Okay.
did you have Dr. Henry Jones?
Well, I had Henry.
Henry, that's good enough. Good enough. Yep.
Okay.
I'll take that. Okay, Mike, which doctor had the long multicolored scarf as his trademark?
That would be the Doctor. No, I'm just kidding. And the actor's name was Tom Baker.
That is correct.
Hey.
All right, John, did you?
I had Tom Baker, and he was the 4th Doctor, I believe.
John, I'm gonna.
My wife actually has the scarf.
Oh, sweet! I'm gonna give you a quarter point for knowing both of those. And Brian.
Wait a minute. He only gets a quarter point?
No. He got a full and a quarter. I gave him an extra quarter point.
1 and a quarter.
Yes.
And I also had Tom Baker, but I was thinking he was around the 7th Doctor, but Tom Baker is what I had.
Tom Baker, good enough. Check. Okay. All right. So, what alien being wields Mjolnir for a short period of time and is later given its equal, Stormbreaker? Mike?
Oh, that's easy. That is Otto the Blix.
I'll give you a quarter point for that.
Woo!
John?
Knock it up.
Know your audience.
John,
Yeah.
what did you
Know your
have?
quizmaster.
I had Beta Ray Bill.
Hot dog. That is right. And Brian, did you have Beta Ray Bill?
No, sir. I just put Thor because I didn't know who it was.
Oh, okay. Beta Ray Bill is one of my favorite Marvel characters. I love that guy.
Well, see, Thor, come on now. That should get a quarter point in there.
That was in the classic Thunder Frog story arc. You know?
Thunderfrog. All right. So here,
Thornbreaker.
Thornbreaker. All right. So when Wesley challenges Humperdinck to the pain, what body part does he say he'll allow him to keep? Mike?
Your ears you keep. so that every shrill from every woman and boy and child in the world you will hear their cries.
Yes.
Very good. John?
Exactly, the ears, so they can
ears.
hear the anguish cries.
Cyber ears. He had his cyber ears. So Brian, what did you have ears?
Yes, I did.
Ears. Okay. All right. So where are we? We are. Damn. There's no sudden death because John, you swept this thing.
What? I have 3.5 points.
Yeah, Mike, you have 3.
I am the Uber geek. Thank you very much.
John, you have 5.25 points.
Damn.
And Brian, you have 3.
Yes.
Well, that's Cuba Death, and John is our winner this week. You win. John, you win a great big bag of nothing.
All right, once again.
I call no more Cuba Death with John. He's like a brainiac, like a know-it-all or something.
Yeah, that's me. I'm just a professor. What can I tell you?
Well, speaking of know-it-alls and professorish and sciencey stuff, Brian, can you hang out with us just a little bit longer?
Yes, I can. If you don't mind, I'm going to scoot off for a second and grab something to drink.
No problem.
All right.
Hey, we'll be here.
And now, bringing you the news. I think after the summer break or after our mid-season break, Mike, we gotta have some kind of news thing or something. We got to do that.
Okay.
Because I'm like, I feel like, and now the news. John? All right, so Brian's not here tonight, so I asked John if he could step in, and being that John is our science correspondent, he is going to give us 3 science stories.
Here, how about this for the news?
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
There. And now the news.
Now the news, that's all the news.
That's how I open each one of my.
Oh, boy. This is going to be the robot news.
Okay. So, any particular order you want me to do these stories in, or just hit it?
Nope, doesn't matter.
All right. So the first story. One of the big ones that caught my attention is some researchers at Scripps National Institute are working with DNA, and your viewers may know that ordinarily you have 4 nucleotides, A, T, C, and G. They came up with 2 new ones that they're calling X and Y. So instead of having 4 nucleotides making up the DNA of these organisms that they're raising, these modified bacteria, they've actually got 6 of them. So this is entirely new, brand new, never seen on the planet DNA. And the idea is using it with synthetic organisms.
When I heard them say they added extra letters to DNA, I just thought it was like DNABC or something.
Oh, Jesus. No.
It's an X and a Y, and they can do all kinds.
Stupid.
That the basic idea, or what they're claiming, is that by adding these extra letters, ordinarily DNA codes for particular proteins. Well, if you add extra letters, in theory, you can code for different and new proteins with new uses. So that's what they're saying. Whether or not this thing will then get loose and go breeding and inspire generations of horror movies to come, we don't know. But that's at least what they're saying.
Well, they think I was
the
reading
scientists
this.
are claiming that it can't escape and breed on. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, no, I was going to say there was a big delay on that.
They were claiming that.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, they were claiming that it can't basically escape the lab and breed on its own, since they need to give it this X and Y nucleotide. Now, for those of you that haven't actually seen Jurassic Park, the reason they said the dinosaurs couldn't escape is because they needed to feed them this particular protein. So I'm not sure that really reassures me much. But potentially there could be some unique things that they can do, some new types of organisms. It has potential uses for pharmaceuticals and vaccines and all kinds of things. So we'll kind of have to wait and see what happens with this. It could be either really, really good or really, really bad or somewhere in between. We don't know yet.
Okay, well, I got 2 things. I got 2 things for that. So you say it could be, they say it could possibly be used for vaccines, and I was reading it, and it was saying, and it was kind of light on this, so maybe you can come from a biology standpoint, maybe you can help me out with this. They were saying that it basically they can inject somebody with the live version of this, and the idea would be that it could not continue to replicate because it would run out of its synthetic X and Y pieces. But
Right.
how would your body throw a response? I mean, why would you be worried about throwing a response to a virus that had stuff in it that was going to kill itself out? Would they basically take one that's known and give it the X and Y so that it could only make more of itself, but it would still be like that virus?
Right. That's my basic understanding. Is the way that vaccines work is basically to cue your immune system up to fight off a particular disease. Now, you can do this traditionally with a killed version of the virus that can't reproduce, and your body develops an immune response to that. But sometimes it's not perfect because, again, this is a dead virus. They can make viruses with a weakened live form of the virus, but that risks having it mutate and make a form of the virus that actually gets you sick. That's one of the types of problems I have with some types of polio vaccines. People end up getting the polio disease because of it. What they're saying is you could take a live version of the virus. It wouldn't be able to reproduce additional types or copies of itself. So you couldn't actually get the disease because it would need those extra proteins. But since the rest of the virus was just a regular, ordinary virus, you would develop the appropriate response to it. Your body would, from that point on, be able to fight off that particular disease organism.
Ah, okay. All right. So the second thing. Now, if you have 4 nucleotides, right? 4 different variables. So it's 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. You have 24 permutations, right? Now, they were saying X and Y is a pair. So I don't think that gives you the 720 permutations of 6 nucleotides, does it?
Okay, the way it works with ordinary DNA is you have particular combinations. So, for instance, the A always matches up with the T and the C always matches up with the G. So, presumably, the X would always match up with the Y. So, depending on what kind of combinations you got, whether it was an A and a T, and then another A and a T, and then an X and a Y, or whether it was an X and a Y and a C and a G, there's a bunch of different variations you can get. Ordinarily, to make proteins, they're made up of these little bits that are like usually 3 letters.
Right, codons and
right. So again, you would need that 3-letter combination, and it increases the number of variations on that 3 numbers you can get.
But just adding that would greatly increase the number of things you could get. But then again, like they were saying, they might not all work. Like it's like, oh yeah, you could combine this with this and this and this, in theory, but that X and Y might only work with 1 or 2 things.
Right. We don't know that all these, again, you could potentially make lots and lots of new proteins, but some of them might fall apart or not work inside the cell or do any number of things. So again, a lot of potential for things that could go wrong.
Right. Frankenteria. So Brian, what do you make of all that?
Oh,
I mean, have we gone like way too high, like way too beyond in the sciencey realm, or are you good? You following us?
Somewhat. It's not my area of expertise, but no, I can appreciate what I'm listening to, but I would still have to have a chalkboard and someone explain it to me. So
okay, well, and there's probably
the next episode.
There's probably a group of our fans that are like, oh, that's really cool, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, the nucleotides of that, and then there's the other portion of our
Mike's mom, right?
Right. Then there's this other portion of our audience that's going, what the fuck are you talking about?
Okay.
There's the others that are going, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. When I'm on the transcript days, I'm having fun.
Okay.
Transcript
So,
days.
let me break it down a little bit, okay? Think for all you fellow computer geeks out there, okay? You've got a computer program. It's written in binary code. So it's basically 2 letters. It's a 1 or a 0, okay? Now, imagine how much more the code could be if instead of having 2 letters, a 1 and a 0, you had 4. So you had a 1 and a 0 and, say, a 2 and a 3. A lot more combinations, a lot more complex code you could write. Now imagine if you had 6 letters to choose from. Essentially, you're taking a language and adding extra letters to it. So in theory, you can write more complex things with that.
But the downside would be, let's say it was let's say it was a 0 and a 1 and then an X. You threw an X in there. It's like, well, some code's not going to work with a letter, or it might fuck your code all up. You don't know. We have to see where it goes.
It does in hexadecimal, so well, you got that.
You got that going for you. All right, let's go to the next one.
Hey, I hear that I better start my saltwater fish tank really soon.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's
Because-
right.
You might want to hurry up on that.
Because bad news.
Bad news.
Bad news, everyone.
There's a new study coming out, and we've known that global warming is going to cause all kinds of problems for the ocean because it's increasing the acidity of the ocean, it's killing off coral reefs and all kinds of things. Based on the rate that's killing off species of fish, plus like overfishing and things like that, the new estimate, according to this study, is that by 2048, pretty much all the species of saltwater fish will be extinct if we don't do anything about it now.
I'm gonna be extinct by then. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's a fairly sobering thought.
Yeah.
But, John, what can I do? I'm only one guy.
Well, you can do some number of things. You can eat fish. You can eat fish that's aquacultured sustainably. You can try to do stuff about global warming so that we're not pumping as much carbon dioxide. I suppose you and I could talk less, so we're pumping less carbon dioxide out into the atmosphere. We'll do our
All
own.
right.
So we'll
Bye.
certainly-
I could stop making so much methane.
There you go. There you go. That'll be an important contribution. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Not-
Wait a minute.
Not gonna happen.
Adrian's not here, but he is probably the most methane-producing member of this show.
Yes.
He's a burrito-holic.
Okay. Well, going back to the genetic engineering thing, cattle produce a lot of that methane that hurts the atmosphere. Scientists are actually trying to produce cows that don't produce methane. So that's one thing kind of in the pipeline, so to speak.
That's
Hey.
awesome.
Maybe they can mix some of those new DNA together and
There you go.
make a non-farting human.
Right?
Great.
Well,
It's
that
not
would give all the country folks an opportunity not to breathe in the dairy air. So
There you go. Oh,
Dairy air.
I get it. It's but no,
Nice.
it's not the humans' methane. It's the cow methane that's the problem.
Cows, yeah. Well, two things. One, raising cattle. Cattle naturally produce lots and lots of methane. The other thing is that producing cattle and pigs and chickens and other meat produces a lot of carbon dioxide just because of the way they're raised and transported in the whole process. Well, actually, raising meat animals is one of the major producers of greenhouse gases. They produce more greenhouse gases than cars and trucks and buses combined.
Mm.
Pretty significant.
Yeah. What is it?
Wow.
What is it? So to eat meat is if I remember correctly, it's like 1,000 calorie difference. So like for every 1,000 calories that meat consumes, you get 1 calorie of meat.
Well, yeah, it depends on how high up. We actually talked about this in class the other day on the food pyramid that you've got. Is every time you go from one level to the next, like say you go from the plants to the herbivores, from the herbivores to the carnivores, you're only getting about 10%. So, for instance, let's go back to the fish. If I'm eating, say, tilapia, they're herbivores. They eat plants. So there's lots of energy there available. If I go up the food chain a little bit and I start eating salmon, they're carnivores. So there's a lot less energy. In other words, I need a lot more energy to produce the same pound of salmon that I can produce for less energy in the tilapia.
Yeah, but salmon tastes good.
Yeah. Predators are delicious.
They do. So, hey, let the genetic engineers get to use, and, they'll have cows that are tasting like salmon. Who knows?
Hey, salmon has a good personality, but I wouldn't go eat the motherfucker.
It must be one charming motherfucking fish. All right. So wait. There's another issue here. It's not just that the fish are going to die out and we won't have fish to eat. There's a bigger issue here. It goes deeper than that, right? Ah, deeper. Yeah. You like that? No, it goes deeper than that.
Yeah, it's more than just. I mean, there's the food factor because we eat a lot of these fish, but also you have to take into account the environmental role that they take because they eat a lot of other more harmful species, like say jellyfish. They do a lot for recycling chemicals that go through the natural system, not just carbon, but oxygen, and a lot of things get cycled through. Without the fish, that sort of breaks a lot of those chains. Right. So it'll have a lot of wide-ranging effects on creatures both in and out of the water, including us, are going to be affected by that.
Right. I mean, where else are we going to get creatures to eat the garbage we put in the ocean? I mean, to help clean that up.
Right.
like who else is going to eat all the cigarette butts we dump into the ocean? I mean, come on.
The Loch Ness Monster.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, okay.
So a lot of things. And again, right now we have certain areas of the ocean that are, protected. They're kind of like marine reserves, but that's only about 1% of the ocean. So we could do a lot more to protect areas and increase habitat protection for the fish. We can use more sophisticated fishing techniques, more sophisticated fishing policies in terms of what kind of quotas we set for different types of fish and that sort of thing. So there are a few things that we can do, but we don't have a lot of time to do it.
And don't forget, look, Americans.
44, going to be too late.
My fellow Americans, you can eat stuff other than salmon.
Yeah.
There's there's this fish called swai, which is very delicious, and very few of my fellow Americans eat that fish, but it's very a tasty fish. You can eat that. It's very good.
Hey, I'll tell you, I gotta solve all this, all right? We just fucking start eating dolphins, all right? There's fucking fish left, we'll eat the dolphins.
Eat more dolphins. All right, so we got one more. Talking about climate change.
Right. Again, this story is kind of tied together because this one is climate change, and for those of you that haven't been watching it, Cosmos has been redone with new special effects, and it's been with Neil deGrasse Tyson hosting it. It's just been amazing, and it is an awesome show that does a great job of discussing science, how science works, discusses the age of the universe, the age of the planet, how evolution works, and so naturally there's all kinds of folks getting pissed off at it. So there's been a lot of religious conservatives who are objecting very loudly and frequently to pretty much every episode of Cosmos.
I can't imagine who.
Discussion of science.
I can't imagine
It's amazing.
Who would that be?
Yeah.
Actually,
there's quite a lot of them. You might have heard that they had that debate not too long ago with a fellow named Ham was debating Bill Nye, and he's a big Cosmos hater. There's a number of other groups that are working on this that again are getting a lot of flack and are writing nasty letters to the stations and doing all kinds of stuff. Now it's kind of ironic that this is on Fox, since that's the one that they're now writing all of their hate mail to. Yeah. But that's kind of what's going on with that.
Now, well, I'm going to pick right now to give an example. This is our examples of logical fallacies, and one of them is called a ad hominem attack. And I'm going to give you an example of an ad hominem attack, okay? Ken Ham is a douchebag. That would be an example.
Right.
If I were to make one up.
Right. If you were to say he's wrong because or anything.
He's a douchebag.
Right. That is an ad hominem. That is a logical fallacy.
He's wrong because his science is wrong.
Yes.
His assertions are wrong, and that's legitimate.
And hold on, wait. Before we go any further, hold on.
But if I were to say he's a douchebag,
really quick, Mike, everybody, let's. This is something I've been thinking about while we've been talking about this. I want to make a very strong point that our show, the MythWits, does not have a political basis. We are not Republican. We're not Democratic. We're not Democratic. We're not Democrats. We're not Republicans. We do not have a political base, and we do not have a stance on religion. We each have our own opinions on it, but this show itself does not. So we just tell it like we see it. If you disagree with us, you disagree with us. But don't blame the show. And we like to be open-minded about things. We're not saying that global warming or global climate change is absolutely true. Other than we are saying that because we believe in the science. We will take a stance on science.
Raise your hand if you believe in science and rational thought.
Yeah, we're science people.
One thing I will say here is, again, I don't want everybody to get the idea that this is like, the global warming folks versus the religious folks, because, vast numbers of very religious, very spiritual people absolutely agree with the science. They take the data the same way that everybody else does. They interpret it the same way everybody else does. There are plenty of scientists who are religious, spiritual people. Yep. So there's a lot of the religious community that doesn't have any problems with these logical conclusions on global warming and evolution and things like that. But there is, however, a very vocal minority. So, for instance, there's a group called AIG, Answers in Genesis, and they're one of the particular ones that have come out against Cosmos. Recently, there's an episode where Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about some of the geological history of Earth, and he was talking about Earth's atmosphere over the 4.5 billion years that Earth has been around, saying that at one time the Earth's atmosphere had a lot higher percentage of oxygen than it does now. One of the results of that was that a lot of the insects that were around back then were a lot larger than insects we have now, because insects have fairly primitive or unsophisticated breathing systems. So if there's not a lot of oxygen, there's sort of a finite limit on how big they can get. More oxygen means you get bigger bugs. AIG flipped out when he said this and said, no, there's no proof that there was a different atmosphere. This idea that the atmosphere was different, billions of years ago is completely absurd. They don't know why the bugs were bigger. Well, yeah, actually we do, and we have good evidence for it. And that's what they're presenting on Cosmos, is the evidence.
Right. And the problem he has with it is because it conflicts with the flood theory.
Yeah.
And when I say the flood hypothesis.
So again, there's biblical literalists, and there's literalists in pretty much every religion you can think of that has a book associated with it. And so they are a vocal minority. But again, I don't want people to get the idea that everybody who's religious goes along with them, because they are a very, very small minority.
Hey.
Unfortunately, they're loud and well-funded, but they are just a small minority.
Just for an example, DePopa, he has come out and I mean, for years now, they support evolution. I mean, the Catholics get it.
They've been teaching, Catholic schools have been teaching evolution for decades. They were teaching it when I was a little kid. So, they don't have any problems with it.
So, Mike, what were you saying?
I was just going to say, that all may have worked fine and dandy when the Earth was flat and the sun revolved around the Earth. But you know what I mean? These are new times, Well,
can I flip in the fourth science story, about that?
Yeah.
It's when you get started doubting science, and now there are even folks coming out publicly, mind you, saying that, no, this idea that the Earth orbits the sun is just completely wrong. It's just a liberal conspiracy, and actually the sun and everything else goes around the Earth.
Wait a minute, these fucking liberals are saying that the Earth goes around the sun?
Yeah, wild, wacky stuff. I know. It's all Galileo's fault.
It's just crazy shit. So hold on real quick, Brian. Let's get in. I want you to get in on this. So Brian, you live out a bit west of us.
Yes.
So do you get a lot of that out in your area?
A lot of, I'm sorry.
Oh, just
like the East Coast revolves around the middle of the country, that kind of stuff.
I mean, I don't know how. I'm not familiar with your area. Are we getting closer to the Bible? We're getting closer to the Bible Belt there.
Yes.
Do you have a lot of that out that way? Is there any?
No, there really isn't a lot of debate that with folks that I speak with in regard to that. They're just taking it all in. They're looking at the evidence. I know there's a lot of talk about creationism. That's for sure in the Midwest, and then there's some debates on with the new cosmos as well. Personally, I believe in what John was saying. It's evidence does point to very factual things, and so as far as what like the politics and things around here, it's you don't hear a lot of it.
Okay.
I know in some of the local churches and things, some of the pastors and leaders and things of that nature have kind of spoke up against it recently.
Mike.
What?
Stop. Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead. I apologize for my co-host.
What?
No, but I thought maybe you were referring to like the climatic changes too, because we've seen some of the coldest days in Michigan in a long time, especially with global warming and things of that nature too. It's been a very different past couple of years, I would say, with what we've experienced here as far as how the vegetation is being adapted to the way the climate's been. Some of the warmest days, some of the coldest days. We've seen some of the lows, lowest lows we've seen in a long time. So there are things that are affecting it. People don't realize that just by looking at what's around us globally and with the evidence pointing for those changes, then they're blind. So
yeah. It's, because it's like, John, you've said global warming several times. I prefer the term global climate change. I mean, just because, it is warming. That's the trend. The trend is warming. It's just that when you say global warming to people, people who don't understand the difference between weather and climate, weather is right now, climate is over periods of time. It's trends. It's, you know, I was okay. So I went to Alaska about a year and a half ago, and I was talking to one of the guys in Alaska, and I was curious as to like how, because they have glaciers up there. I was curious as to asking a local, you know, what he has seen with his own eyes in the past, you know, in his lifetime. And he said he pointed over at a glacier, and he said, "You see that glacier there?" And I was like, "No, I don't." He's like, "You used to be able to see it." He's like, "When I was a kid, you could see the glacier that was right there." He said, "It's 20 miles that way. You can't see it anymore." And I was like, "Holy shit!" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Our winters are," he's like, "they are very mild compared to what they used to be." He's like, "It still gets cold up here, of course, and for long periods of time. It is Alaska." But he said he knows. I mean, he's absolutely positive. He sees, you know, he has seen a massive difference. And my understanding is the further north you go, the more you see this difference.
Right. As you move away from the equator, either farther north or farther south from the equator, it sort of magnifies the effect. So where you might see maybe a 1 or 2 degree change at the equator, you might be seeing, say, an 8 or 10 degree change closer to the poles.
Yeah, and he was what else was it that I've seen? Oh shit, I was gonna say something else and I can't remember what it was. But it's an overall thing, and like you were saying, the colder winters, the cold winter you've been having, and you know they say, oh, the polar vortex, yeah, sure, whatever. Another, it's like, no, that's very real because it's just the way it shifts. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Okay, so. Yeah, we had this really cold winter. Our winter was like ridiculous cold. We've had tons of snow, right? California, however, everything west of the Rockies had an unbelievably hot winter and super high levels of drought. They had the hottest winter on record.
That's one of the things to consider is, you know, you talk about global averages. Locally, you may have interesting effects. For instance, right now, England is not exactly what I'd call tropical, but it's a lot warmer than it would be based just on how far north it is. The reason is because the Gulf Stream runs up from the southern U.S., goes across the Atlantic, and runs right past England, keeps it, you know, rather temperate, okay? If the Greenland glaciers continue to melt and continue to dump fresh water into the northern Atlantic, that may cause the Gulf Stream to shift and/or stop. If that happens, England is going to be in the middle of an ice age.
Yeah, they're going to be like Norway.
Climate as Newfoundland.
Yeah, right.
So they're going to be in for, you know, a hard row to hoe. Okay, if we don't do something about this.
What was that saying?
A hard row to hoe.
That's a hard hoe to row.
That's what they say downtown on Baltimore Street.
That's right.
Hey, I'm the one studying for my PMP. I need me a hard hoe.
A hard hoe to row.
and it'll be a cold one too. So.
Right. All right. All right. Well, I think that about is. I think we about scienced our audience out. We try to keep it as light and goofy as possible.
As the eyes are glazing over.
Right, but we like to have a little bit of seriousness here. We like to bring some education to people and talk about sciencey stuff.
Hold on. Last week you bring us the ultimate in male masturbation equipment.
Yes,
and this week you bring us scientific doom and gloom.
Hey man, I like to mix it up. I'm
I'm
fucking crazy like. Wait a minute, Mike. Hold on, so my audience can see this. I'm fucking crazy like that, man. Crazy. See this eye? Look. See that eye? See that eye's doing? Okay. Right there.
Yes, it's very crazy.
You never know what to expect. No,
just don't bring doom and gloom in male masturbation tools together. All right, we don't want that crossover next week.
So like the
don't try to admit methane while masturbating. That's the takeaway lesson.
So we're not going to do any stories about the guy who tried to masturbate with the Flowbee.
Right, or masturbated with a pike or something, you know.
Okay. Oh yeah, or that fish that
or
swims.
Salmon, either one.
Yeah. Right.
On a belt sander, the Darwin Award, yes.
We should probably do a Darwin Award review.
It could be a reward depending on how you're looking at it.
Yeah, it's a reward for the rest of us.
Yes. All right. Yes, we should definitely do that. Maybe next week.
All right.
Until then.
Yeah. Until then, I think we're gonna call it a show. Brian, thanks for coming on. Let me do this one more time. It's www.grand-con.com and Facebook /GrandConGCA, and Twitter is @GrandConGCA. Brian, those prices can't be beat. You should definitely go if you can make it. Sounds like a really, really good time.
It's TopCon prices at bargain basement prices.
I appreciate it very much. You guys have been wonderful. It's always great to talk about your passion and what you get to do, and I hope as many folks that are able to check us out come up, and if you do and you happen to listen to the show, look for me, say hello, and I'll be more than happy to show you around, and thank you very much for coming.
Cool. All right, excellent. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to run the closer, and then I'm going to shut the show out. So then I'll see you all next week.
See ya.
Namaste.
You've just enjoyed the MythWits. Join us for a live broadcast next week and every week, Mondays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you miss our live show, you can always catch the encore episodes and the podcast version at our website and on iTunes. Make sure to check out our website at MythWits.com, and of course visit us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and iTunes. MythWits is a Studio187.com production and is protected under an attribution, non-commercial, no derivatives, Creative Commons work. You can download and share it with whoever you like. Just don't change it and don't try to make money with it. Make sure to check out Studio187.com for more cool stuff. See you next week.